Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. This video is all about Crowfall Endgame. What do you do once you hit level 30? My name is Dilbo Dabgins. That is Dilbo with a B. I stream every single day over on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Dilbo Dabgins at 6 p.m. Eastern. We play a whole lot of Crowfall. So if there's a question you want to ask me directly, make sure you drop a follow over there and come by when I'm live and go ahead and ask me. Also, make sure you subscribe, like, all that crap to this YouTube channel because I got many Crowfall videos coming out explaining many systems and all types of stuff like that. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day and watching this video. And hopefully I can explain to you what Crowfall Endgame is and what to do once you hit level 30, because unlike what some people might think, there's a lot to do in this game once you hit level 30. So what is level 30? Like, what does that even mean, right? So when you start off the game, you're level 1 and you go through the entire new player experience that teaches you Crowfall, teaches you all of the systems, the crafting, the harvesting, the progression systems, vessel making, all types of stuff like that, the outpost, PvP zones, stuff like that. So you'll hit level 30 and that's when you're experiencing like the beginning of Endgame. And I kind of hate calling Crowfall, saying that Crowfall has an endgame because it doesn't. It's a sandbox game. It's a you make the game what it is type of game. But true end game, I guess, if you want to put like I have beaten Crowfall, that's like 4 or 5 months out from once you've hit level 30, unless you're joining a guild way late after launch. They might already have a bunch of stuff for you to be able to get to level 35 quickly. So, but I'll explain all that, don't worry. So yeah, when you hit level 30, what you want to do is you want to kind of start experiencing PvP, right? So you want to go into what is called Low Sec and Sky Point. And this is a portal attached to God's Reach. Inside of the God's Reach, underneath the starter worlds tab in the lobby, there's the God Reach world. And inside of those, they will be attached to Low Sec and Sky Point areas. Inside of these areas are where you're going to get your first taste of PvP. In Low Sec, which are the 3 maps that surround Sky Point, those all, when you die, you drop 50% gold, nothing else. So if you have gold on you, you drop 50% of it, nothing else in your inventory. When you're inside Sky Point, you drop 100% of your gold when you die. You know, it kind of makes it a little bit more intense, right? But the harvestables as you get into Sky Point get better, right? So that's kind of why that's like that. It's like, okay, well, you're in Sky Point, so now you can harvest a little bit better materials than you could when you're in Low Sec. Anyways, so that's what you want to do. Once you hit level 30, you want to start going through the progression of getting some gear as far as farming war tribe camps, which are these little yellow houses on your map. And they'll have a level range for the mobs at the camp. And these war tribes will drop gold and sacrifice materials and crafting materials and food and gear. You want to try to get full set of blue gear, really, from war tribe, because what that allows you to do is a full set of blue gear once you hit level 30 is strong enough to make you viable in most PvP fights. Now you're not gonna beat everybody. Gear does matter to an extent in this game, but it doesn't matter as much as your player skill does. So you could be a level 30 on blue gear and I could be a level 33 with purple gear, but if you're better than me, you can beat me, right? Anyways, that's kind of getting off topic, but that's what you kind of want to do. You want to start farming inside of Low Sec and Sky Point, getting some PvP under your belt, start understanding how your class works, find a group of maybe your friends, get into some large scale, not large scale, but like 5v5s, you know, stuff like that. Start capping outposts and forts, pay attention to the siege windows for all the forts and the keeps. Start fighting for your faction, because at the end of the day, this part of the game is your transition point from normal carrot on the stick questing to sandbox guild versus guild hardcore PvP. That's what this point of the game is. You're transitioning from the normal MMO experience into Crowfall. So you want to start experiencing the fort sieges, experiencing the keep sieges, right? Inside of Sky Point and Low Sec. And the way to do that is to keep an eye on the siege schedule and go and participate. I'm sure at launch, there's going to be a lot of new players all running around with their heads cut off, you know, not knowing what they're supposed to be doing. And they're going to be trying, okay, there's a fort for siege. Let's go see what that is. And then, you know, and go and trying to capture it. What you really should do is once you kind of, I'm not saying you do this for months, right? I'm not saying you do that for months or anything. I'm saying maybe like a day, 2 days, you know what I mean? Really what you should be doing is you should be looking for a guild. This game isn't made in a way that you can play by yourself. You're not going to be able to experience more than 10% of the game by yourself. You have to be in a group, at least in a group or a guild, to be able to experience Crowfall at its best and what it is. Crowfall is a PvP hardcore throne war simulator that is balanced and built all around being in a guild. So once you get your first level 30 character and you've practiced in low sec and you've practiced in Skypoint, you got yourself some gear, you got your bank filled with some gold, right? Find yourself a guild, because then what will happen is that guild will determine what you do next based on the needs of the guild. That's what a good guild would do. I guess not all guilds would do that, but I guess a good guild would do that, right? Also, what you could be doing is making multiple characters. So having multiple characters is very important. This is a very alt friendly game, is what, you know, the terminology from other MMOs would be. It's a very alt friendly game. You want to have, you know, your main DPS class. You want to have your main maybe solo roaming class for when you don't got any buddies on, but you need to go farm some gold. I'm going to have a character personally for just going to farm war tribes, get gold, or even harvesting by myself, right? Have a healer as well. Everybody needs a healer. I know nobody wants to play healers, but healers are worth their weight in gold in Crowfall. They really are. Guilds will normally give healers everything they want whenever they want it, just because they play healer. So if you're a healer main, man, you're going to be set up for life in Crowfall. So make sure, you know, you get a few characters to 30, you know, kind of getting your repertoire across multiple characters, because what people don't realize is that when you start learning a class, you'll get better at your main class by playing other classes, because you'll understand how to fight them from playing them, right? I mean, I have 900 hours in this game, and there's still classes that I don't fully understand, because there's so many different ways to build characters, and there's so many different outcomes that a character could be. I'll fight somebody, I'll be like, what the hell is that? I don't know how they did that. So yeah, so make sure you try to get some more characters to level 30. And I'm going to have a guide on how to fast level to 30 rather than having to do the whole entire NPE again. I'm going to have a guide for that out as well. It should be on my YouTube channel. So, and if it's not on my YouTube channel right now, it will be before launch. So make sure you go check that out, so you don't have to do the entire NPE again. You can get to level 30 within like an hour or 2 hours, something like that. The next thing you should really try to do is like start harvesting or crafting. Now, you don't have to harvest or craft in this game. You can literally just be you know, a gold maker and just use gold to buy everything you want. But most guilds need harvesters at the minimum to be able to get the entire guild geared up for the end game, or for guild versus guild, for dregs. You need your entire guild outfitted with good gear, with good vessels, all types of stuff. So being a harvester at the minimum is good, right? So I personally I'll have multiple different harvesters. I'll have multiple different characters that all harvest different things. I'll have one for harvesting wood, one for harvesting body parts, one for harvesting ore, and one for harvesting stone. Each one of those characters will focus on that harvest, and that's kind of like the professions in this game. Now, you don't have to do that, but I do suggest getting at least one character with a harvesting discipline on it and start progressing that harvesting discipline, right? That's a really good thing to do, especially at launch before Dregs is out, is starting to progress your harvesters or your crafters and getting those disciplines to higher levels so you can harvest more efficiently and craft better gear. And I'm going to have a whole video explaining harvesting and crafting as well. It should be linked below in the eye or something like that. So, and that's a whole, that video would be like this video would be like an hour long if I went into that right now. So I can't do that right now, but that's a good thing to do as well once you hit level 30. Eventually after launch, what's going to happen, and my bet is probably a week after launch, is we're going to get our first campaign. Campaigns are a start and end date type of server that has a winning condition that guilds go into, and they compete at a hardcore level to be able to win materials, gold, mounts, all types of stuff, and honestly bragging status for your guild, right? So once you hit level 30 and you've kind of done everything that I've already talked about, and you're going to go in with your guild, you're going to go into dregs, and then you're going to start experiencing what the hardcore part of Crowfall is, and in my opinion the best part. It's The open world dregs, the castle sieges, the keep sieges, the conquest system, the divine favor system, all of that. The end game of this game it's not I'm gonna do this raid, and then I gotta wait for the next expansion. The end game of this game is a consistent loop of get better things to fight better people, to get better things to fight better people, to get better things to fight better people. And there's really not an end to that, because unless everybody in the game hits level 35 and everybody in the game has all legendary gear, that would be the only part where that would end. But still, you would still have the bragging rights of being able to beat everybody else in the server, because at the end of the day, it is a PvP game, and it's not a PvE game. It is a PvP game, and the game is about fighting each other and proving that I am better than you. So how to get to level 35? So that's probably that's one thing you guys are going to want to know is, once you hit level 30, that's not the end. You can get to level 35. And the way to do that is via vessel creation. Vessels are really, it's a piece of gear, but it's literally like a body of a character. So a little bit of lore for you. You're a crow. Your account is a crow. You as the player are a crow, spirit crow, and your spirit goes into the character that you're playing and becomes that character and fights, right? So literally your character, the body of your character is a piece of gear, and you can upgrade your character. So once you hit level 30, you'll have access to be able to equip a white vessel. And that white vessel will then allow you to be able to rank all the way up to level 31. It'll also increase your attribute caps from 200 all the way up to 250. So every single attribute in the game has a soft cap of 200 and a hard cap of 250. It will increase all of your attribute caps and increase all of your base attribute stats. So that's the real, progression part of Crowfall, is getting to the point where you're up to level 35 with these vessels. So getting that first white vessel in level 31 is super easy to do. You can literally buy the vessel from an NPC. I don't suggest doing that because they're crap, better than you want to get it crafted from a necromancer. But that's really the progression. That's really what all of the guilds are working towards, and all the harvesters and everything. They're all working towards getting their vessels and getting their necromancers to a high enough level to be able to make really good vessels, and having those stats on your character based on the vessel that you have equipped. It's really it's a very long loop. It's not we're going to be done in 2 weeks type of thing. It is a very long process, because it takes a lot to be able to get to the point where you're able to craft legendary vessels, which that is the very end type of vessel that you can make, and finally allows you to unlock level 35. So that's something that you can focus on if you really want to. If you want to become a necromancer and get the necromancy additives, get the necromancy disciplines, the grave digging disciplines, and really be like your guild's necromancer, that's a great progression too, if you're interested in that. Really, what is Crowfall Endgame? The answer to that is, it's what you want it to be. And I know that's hard for some people to be able to wrap their head around, because a lot of gamers nowadays are used to having goals. This is the goal. This is what you're trying to do. I'm trying to beat this raid so I can increase my gear score. So then I can beat this raid so I can increase my gear score. And then I get max gear score and I wait for the next reason to have a higher gear score, right? Or something like that. I'm using arbitrary things. I'm sure there are games that work like that, but I'm not calling out any specific thing. The point of the Crowfall endgame is to give you as the player the ability to do what you want to do in the game. If you want to become the best harvester or the best crafter, that's your end game. Your end game isn't competing in massive 100v100 battles. Your end game is crafting the best shit so your guild stomps all the other guilds, right? The end game of this game is, it's a sandbox. You can make it what you want to make it. And the beauty of the systems in the game that allow for all these different rule sets for dregs. So you can have a dregs where you can't import any gear and you just start off fresh inside of a dreg. So in that instance, the end game is trying to progress as fast as possible in this limited amount of time that this world exists. There's also, very many different types of game types that could be in these campaigns in the dregs that allow you to change what you consider endgame to be. And that's one of the beautiful things about Crowfall, is it doesn't force you to do things that you don't want to do. It doesn't. You can make it by doing anything that you can play this game the way you want to play it and still be viable, right? And still be good enough at the game to make a difference. So I hope this video helped. I know I kind of jumped around and went over things because there's just so many things to the end game. Like I said in the beginning, I don't really like calling it end game, but there's so many things to this game that are considered the end game. It's hard to limit or organize it into a single video. So, and things are going to continue to expand past launch as well. It's going to continue to get bigger and bigger and add more and more things. So make sure you guys are staying on top of it. Make sure you come over to my Twitch channel, hit a follow, ask me any questions that I maybe didn't answer in this video very well. Let me know, or, you know, down in the comments, I'll reply to everything there as well. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're interested, I got a 10% discount code as well down in the description, so you can buy Crowfall and everything in the Crowfall store and everything for 10% off. So thank you so much for watching this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love.